Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our non-championship round here at Bathurst. Mount Panorama, holding races such as the Bathurst 1000, 12-hour and 6-hour. We are tackling this awesome 23-corner track, ranging up to 6.213 kilometres long and being just over 860 kilometres above sea level. In the commentary booth here tonight is Ryan and Paul with a special guest, Peter, the Bathurst man, Gretton. Pete, Bathurst, you're the Bathurst man, and we are, of course, racing here for a non-championship round. How good is this?
How good is Bathurst, for one? Good evening, Ryan. Good evening, PJ, and to all the viewers. How good is Bathurst? We all love it, and I've called quite a few Bathursts, as everyone knows. But to have the Camping World trucks, or the Skypoynt NASCAR trucks, rather, out here tonight on Bathurst, it's going to be a challenge for everyone, I think. 2 10s I've seen in the practice server. What are they going to do in qualifying? It's going to be an interesting, but a good fun night, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Yeah, and it's going to be a ton of fun. These trucks loose at the rear end, no downforce, and they traditionally are on the ovals. And now we've just thrown them at the wall at the concrete jungle Bathurst, where they have to tackle some awesome corners as they are heading through turn number 2, Griffin's Bend. So that's going to be one to look out for. Look how tight it is coming up the mountain. They are coming through the cutting at the moment before they get up to Reed Park. Some famous names, famous Australian names. We have the NASCAR trucks, American muscle trucks on Bathurst, but we will find out what times we can get tonight. I did briefly see the drivers getting into the 10s also. That's also to look out for. But Pete, you being the Bathurst man, you should be able to predict what's going to happen here. However, the trucks are different than the supercars, a lot less downforce, and the truck just is way different. But what do you predict is going to happen here tonight with the cars?
The predictions, well, they are totally different. The chalk and cheese Australian supercar to the NASCAR trucks. But what I do predict is this is a fun race. It's a non-championship round. But these guys on track right now, I don't think they're going to be taking it just as lightly as we think. I think these guys are going to be racing for tooth and nail as if there's championship points on the line. Well, we're usually seeing 25 laps per fuel stint. I don't think these cars are going to be, or trucks rather, are going to get 25 laps. Is fuel going to be in play? Is draft, as we can see on screen now, is that going to have something to do with it here tonight? But one thing that'll hook everyone in right now at the start of the broadcast, right at the top, Ryan and Paul, the jump here at Bathurst is mandatory once the race is completed. So don't go anywhere once the race is done. We will see 20-odd trucks do the jump down there at the chase. But predictions, too early to say. Everyone's going to go a little bit more serious than what we think.
Yeah, and that's right. The drivers will take this pretty seriously. It is for fun, no points, so we won't see a difference in the championship after the qualifying and the races. Heat racing, we have our 2 8-lappers, and we have our 14 lap race at the end for the final, and that will include a pit stop. So we'll see the cars get up on the jacks then and there. New additions to this race that we haven't seen in the championship. The most notable is Sebastian Vindel in the number 9 truck. He is one to look out for as well because he is quite quick in the supercar, and as we can see, a couple of cars just getting a little bit, finding it a little bit tricky to stay on the track, and that does happen here. Naturally, we do have no runoff at all. There's concrete barriers left, right, over the top here. For example, as you come up departing Reed Park, Silverman Park, and they're coming into Skyline now before they go. Now McPhillamy, you can see a couple of trucks getting together. You have nowhere to go. If there's a crash, if one driver makes an error and gets tangled up in the wall, there's 26 trucks tonight and they will fire into each other, so we've got to look out for that. But, however, we are in our qualifying session, and so far, no one set a time so far. Supercars do around 2-minute 5s, 2-minute 4s, and we're going to see much similar but slower lap time. You can see some drivers in the 10s, so let's see who can take the pole position for our race number 1 tonight. Looking on screen at the moment, number 41, that is Andrew Dyson. He's having a run. Let's see what time he can do. At the moment, he is about to set the time. Let's see where he can put his truck. P, number 1, he goes to the top. First person to set his lap time, and he's the quickest is Daniel Stevens. Also sets the time of a 2-minute 10.47 to put in the third quickest time. Sebastian Vindel now in 2-minute 12. Wade Sheedy, 2-minute 12. So, a couple of drivers just getting a couple bankers. As we can see, the 2-minute 12, 2-minute 10, and Andrew Dyson, he's absolutely set a blinder, 2-minute 9.1, and that's a lot compared to the driver in second, Daniel Stevens. But, mate, Paul and Pete, the qualifying session is exciting. Since when do you see NASCARs on Bathurst, especially when they're setting qualifying blinder laps like this?
Tell you, Ryan, we can see the NASCAR trucks right here, right now, on all the platforms that we're watching on. They're here at Bathurst. You're not seeing things. We're here at Bathurst. I'll tell you, 209.13 for Andrew Dyson. That's provisional pole at the minute. I'll tell you, and I'm probably, not proud of it, but that's just my skill level. That's only 2 seconds slower than my fastest ever time in a supercar. And these trucks have zero downforce. And the challenge for these guys tonight is understeer at the critical times and oversteer pretty much throughout the lap.
Yes, and that is correct. The car's understeer, oversteer, and definitely they can throw a curveball at you. But good idea. Why don't we go on board with one of the drivers and watch him tackle Bathurst. Sebastian Vindel, P number 3 so far, 2-minute 12.25. Let's go on board with him, see what he is going to set in his NASCAR truck. Knowing Sebi, he's a quick guy. He does really well in a supercar, and he does really well in pretty much whatever he drives. He wins a lot of races. He puts his cars and trucks up the pointy end. We haven't seen him so far this season for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series, but non-championship round, Bathurst Road is a different concept. It's something he is very familiar with. So let's see what he can set, see what he can do as he heads down Conrad Straight for probably the second or third time that he has set so far. See what he's going to do. See if he's going to pull it up down here and see if he can set a decent time.
I think he's pulled his brake marker back a lot further than what he would have been doing in the supercar. We do know, and we do note that the Sebastian Vindel is running number 9, not number 4. Trent Gosley's got that one, and well, let's hope Trent Gosley doesn't do the number 4 trick and blow that engine. And Gosley up to P2 with that 2:10.4. So the times are coming in. But I think that 9.1 is going to be really hard to beat, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely. And if the drivers can beat that 9.1, they'll be in the 8s too. And that's a pretty quick time, considering how difficult these trucks are to drive. And I did go for a little bit of a run in Andy Barber's rig and to see what I can set. And I could only manage to do an 11. So these drivers are definitely setting quick times. They're doing a good job at staying on the track for starters. Staying off the walls is another thing, and being able to set a quick lap like a 9.1 is just seems unrealistic. But Andrew Dyson, he's made it happen, and he does it well. And
also, it's going to be one thing. Sorry, Ryan. It's going to be one thing to point out that all the good setup shops, VRS and PPS, and all the setup shops, they will not have a setup for this track. So who did the homework on the off week? This isn't off a non-championship round. But who did their homework and who did a little bit of practice to set the car up a little bit more comfortable? I think that's going to be evident. I know the Skypoynt boys and probably the LCR and crew, they probably did as well. And there's big teams, but I wonder if we'll be able to pick out and throw them under the bus who didn't, Ryan, because, well, me and Paul were talking just while we were sort of waiting on Junior, but, there's going to be lots of throwing under the bus here tonight, and I wonder if we can pick out who the people or who the drivers hasn't being able to get a setup. Look at that 45. Oh, that was commitment down into the dipper. He's still up on 2 wheels, surprisingly. But I think this guy here, the 45, has a setup on. Just the attitude of this car. That's Gary Willman.
Yeah, and Gary here not only has a good setup, it seems like he's right on the edge of the grip. He is testing the limits. The tyres, the NASCAR tyres are much harder. They take a lot more abuse, a lot more G-forces up on the a lot more G-forces up on the banks of like Talladega, for example, Daytona, some road courses, for example, Watkins Glen. So they do take quite a lot of G-force to be able to hold those tyres to the road, and naturally having the harder tyre, it's a lot harder to get the power down. They are slicks, they do have a lot of grip underneath them compared to a road tyre. However, they are still very difficult to get stuck to the road. These trucks don't have much downforce, and the cars are set up a lot differently. They're not even like a modern day supercar where they can run on the limit of their grip, have a lot of downforce. And as we can see, Dave Douglas just getting the braking wrong. Another thing to consider, the brake bias. How are you going to set it up in the car? The drivers aren't used to having a brake bias. Well, they are used to having a brake bias setting as such. However, they do not know how to use it in a NASCAR truck on the road. But Andrew Dyson, knowing that he has done road before for the Weekend Warriors Series and he is quick, him knowing the NASCAR truck, he is going to be one to look out for, and we can see evidently with his lap time.
Yeah, well, just on his lap time, Andrew Dyson, he pulled out of that one. Paul, unmute your mic. There's the first throw under the bus moment, as we've got another moment up at Griffin's. But Andrew Dyson, he had 3 out of the 4 microsectors here at Mount Panorama on iRacing, all purple, then pulls out of it. Paul, what do you make of that?
Yeah, maybe he thinks that time's good enough. He doesn't need to go faster into the 208s. But yeah, I'll better say g'day to everyone, because who knows when I'll be back on the mic. And
sooner than you think.
Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. It's going to be a fun night here. And one thing you guys didn't mention is the race 2 for the 8 laps is a full reverse grid. So that's going to make things interesting as well.
Everyone loves an inverted field, and you know, the not so quick guys at the back and the fast guys, and we all know fast guys, and every racer has an ego, and well, you know, you got to calm that. But are they going to calm it in a fun race like this, Junior? Because well, everyone wants to win Bathurst, be it in a supercar, be it in a mini, be it in anything. You hear at Mount Panorama in the real life or in iRacing like we're here tonight. Who's going to win here tonight, and who's going to send it?
Mate, I'm pretty sure everyone here is going to send it. However, for this qualifying session, 15 minutes to set the quickest time you can. This is going to set you up for the first race. Who's going to take out the win for the first race? Because whoever does take out the win, that notably with the lap times at the moment could be Daniel Stevens and Andrew Dyson, 1 and 2. That gets completely flipped for race number 2. So that's going to throw another spanner in the works, because the drivers quick in this qualifying session, they start at the back. They have to get through the slower cars and make the way up at the front. And then the third race that we have, the final 14 laps, it's still a long race compared to what the other 2 races are, almost double. That reverse gridded race sets the grid for the final that has the points that everyone cares about now. So we'll see what is going to happen throughout the day, all the night, day at Bathurst, night at home, and so who can really set the pace throughout all 3 of those races.
About night at home and day on iRacing. iRacing, you're the best sim in the market, but mate, we'd love to race iRacing at night. Come on, let's do it. I know we're pushing for a lot. We pushed for the rain. We still haven't got it. Maybe pushing for too much. I noticed a purple microsector there in sector 4 for Sebastian Vandel as well. They're still chasing that 209.1. Only 2 drivers into the 209s, and Andrew Dyson and Daniel Stevens. are them two drivers. But the number 9 driver of Varndell, he's got a bit of pace here. He's obviously got a purple sector, fastest out of the field in sector 4. What's going to happen in the race, and who do you think's going to win? Let's ask you boys this question: who do you think's going to win? I know it's early. I know it's we haven't even started yet, and I'm asking who's going to win. Ryan, I'll start with you. Who do you think's going to win this race based on the form and this great series that's been running out?
Well, we do have quite a few drivers that are up at the pointy end that could come into play with this. We have Andrew Dyson. He's obviously started first. We also have the number 1 of Dave Douglas up at the front. We have Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard, Stephen Williams, Troy Davidson. So many different people. And one of the people that I thought would have been up the pointy end is Aidan Schultz, but he's not here. But here we are. We have the Skypoynt Christmas Fun Run non-championship round at Mount Panorama. Andrew Dyson sets the quickest lap time of a 2:09.1. And Daniel Stevens starts out of second position. Trent Gosley, P3, with Craig Roffey starting beside him. Wade Cheat from Platinum starting next to Gary Wellman. Sebastian Varndell making an appearance from not Premier Racing Team. He is a part of, we won't talk about it. Troy Davidson in 8th with Stephen Williams in 9th. Tom Pritchard from Skypoint Racing. He is ending the top 10. His teammate Andy Barber in P11. Dave Douglas from BMX Bandits. He is in P number 12. Alex Schmidt is starting in unlucky P13 with Riley Curtis in 14th. Kim Roffey 15th with his Roffey mate family in P16. Christopher Tomlin from Inside Lane Sim Sports. He's in P17. Colin Brunt from Middle Finger. He is starting in 18th. Henry Fenton, 19th, with Che Mello ending your top 20. Adam Malone from Southern Stars in 21st. Richie Tramarco, 22nd. Danny Varsel in 23rd. Kobe Jordan from Inside Lane Sim Sports. He's starting in 24th. Aaron Dillon in 25th. And Noddy Tompkins ends your 25-car grid. And how exciting is that going to be? Rolling start for the NASCAR trucks. We're not going for a standing start. They are behind the safety car. They've altered to go for a Porsche rather than a truck, which is interesting. Heat number 1, race number 1, getting ready to go underway. Who's going to win? Who's going to take out the top 3 in this? Who's going to start at the back next race? All our questions will be asked. Who's going to make it past lap number 1? You can't win it in turn number 1. And no doubtedly, who's going to hit the wall first? I can't say it's Aidan Schultz. He's not here, but we know we love Aidan. Andrew Dyson, Daniel Stevens, that is your front row. Let's see how the drivers are going to start it off this one. And Peter Gredden, mate, you're a special guest. Why don't you kick this one off?
Bring us to the green here. Skypoint NASCAR Truck Series non-championship round. The Christmas Fun Bash. Andrew Dyson, the 41, gets a good exit. Oh, actually, I thought he was going to go there, but we got to wait for iRacing. Now he's gone. So premature Pete has come back to it. But he's got, look at this. Who'd say Daniel Stevens took that? Oh, nice clean start. Oh, how'd those guys get around there? But I tell you, standing start here, that would have been good to watch. But so far, Stevens, Dyson, Roffey, Wellman, Gosley, that's your 5. We're going up Mountain Straight for the first time. It all looks single line astern. There's a couple of wobbles here and there, but, well, this is going to be a cider lap for most of them because I think most... Oh, look at that. Oh, no, we got carnage. We got carnage. This is what we thought we would see. Oh, we got carnage up at turn 2, Ryan. Ryan's just ducked away, I think.
Now I'm here.
Oh, you're here, Ryan. You're gobsmacked, aren't you? Yeah, we got him. We got him, didn't we? I'm sure Paul would dig up a replay there, but turn 2, whew, there was so much for my cider lap that I called.
How crazy was that? Turn number 2. We saw our first accident. Colin Bruns looks like he's the casualty out of that one. Kobe Jordan still in the pit lane. Everyone's spreading out. Everyone's scared. I'm pretty sure after his first lap, a lot more damage from cars. Cars smoking. Who's that? No, one of the Skypoynt cars as well. It looks like it's Sebi also. Sebi's being caught up in that one. And that looks like it's Troy Davidson. Casualties already. And notably, Tony Roffey, Sebastian Vandel, Che Mello, Kim Roffey, Troy Davidson, Colin Bruns. That is your casualties so far. No fast repairs. The drivers can't duck into the pits and take a sneaky one and fix their cars. But looking up at the front here, Daniel Stevens is in the lead with Andrew Dyson right up his backside. Craig Roffey's also there. Gary Wellman just a second and a half away. It's still tied up at the front. It's an awesome battle to see Daniel Stevens look at the defence on Andrew Dyson, who's going to take the lead on the lap number 3 as we're heading on to the lap number 3. And we're heading through turn number 1, Hell Corner. There's a reason why it's called Hell Corner, because it gives the drivers hell. Look at Daniel Stevens just catching the grass on the exit. Drag race up Mountain Straight now as they are heading up to Griffin's Bend for the second time tonight, Pete.
Drag race, and it all started from Daiso. He got the exit out of the final corner side by side around the turn 2. And look, Stevens regains that lead. I'm not too sure if he's lost it yet, but Dyson's going to claim it here if he can stick it up. Oh, down the inside here. Oh, tram tracks, Larko. The great man says there's only one line here. No, there's 2. Have a look on our screens. There's 2 lines. Stevens, Dyson, they're battling it out. Did we say this is a fun run? Did we say there's no points? Who would have thought? Look at these guys side by side for pretty much the entirety of this lap so far since turn 1. When are they going to yield? They're going to go turn 2. They're going to go 2 by 2 down the dipper. Have they got the big balls? What do you reckon, Ryan?
It's still side by side as we head down Brock Skyline through the S's. And they're still side by side. Daniel Stevens was able to keep the lead from Andrew Dyson under attack. We're heading down to Forest Elbow. Don't ask Chaz Mossett how he feels about that, because he absolutely hates that corner. Daniel Stevens and Andrew Dyson, they're heading down Conrad Straight for the second time. Who's going to make a move down here? The draft is going to play such a big part. We have a 4-car train up at the front, and they're starting to leave the lead pack away. But don't take your eyes off Daniel Stevens. Let's go on board with Andrew Dyson. He's on the attack down Conrad Straight through the chase, and now they're heading underneath the bridge. Andrew Dyson now, we can see at the front of him, he is angry. He's looking angry. He is coming for Daniel Stevens, and the gap is so small. Just a little bit of a live tap coming out the last corner. Look at his photo down the bottom. Looking very sneaky. Look at the Christmas hat. Looking very lovely as we're heading on to lap number 3. Approaching Hell. Yet again, can they get side by side? Again, Andrew Dyson's going to want to set his line up for Griffin's Bend. Let's see if they can get side by side there. But last lap, Griffin's Bend, the karting, Reed Park, Sellerman Park, Skyline, McPhillamy Park, all of that top section was side-by-side action, and let's see if they can do it again. But Pete, we are on lap number 3. The fight is on, the trucks are loose, and we're freaking out.
Well, we are freaking out. The trucks are loose. We just seen a good view of that. Daniel Stevens, little bit loose there from the view of Dyson, and he's telling us to shush by the look of his photo in there while wearing his Santa hat. Our 10, Stevens, Dyson, Roffey, Wellman, Gosley, Sheedy, Andy Barber's up there, Curtis, Douglas, and Tomlin and Vassell. A little bit of a battle there for 10 further back. But as we go on board, these guys, they're not mucking around, are they? And I did say at the top of the broadcast, Ryan, that it's going to be a little bit more serious than what we sort of anticipate. It's a fun run. It's a Christmas run. And these guys, they're hammering Tong at the minute. Daniel Stevens, Sector 3, purple, fastest out of the field. And as they go to Sector 4, he does that again. Is he going to try and get the run out of here? Daiso, I did notice, up at the final corner, was really, really strong on the brakes. Draft is going to be key, about 1.5 seconds until you're out of that draft. He's well and truly in it at the moment. Let's have a look. Can Dyson take a dive? Because I noticed last lap, Junior, that he was really strong. Let's ride on board and finish this off. But Stevens, couple of purple sectors early on. Short Sharp Racing, lap 3 of 8.
That's right. A couple purple sectors for Daniel Stevens. We can see the gap is 0.6 of a second. He's been able to extend the gap back to Andrew Dyson, but we know he's going to reel him in, and a bit of a mistake from Daniel Stevens. This brings Andrew Dyson right to the back of him and gives Andrew Dyson a big view of his moon. And let's see what's going to happen here. Going through Hell Corner for the 4th time. We're halfway through our Heat 1. And the battle is on. Daniel Stevens, Andrew Dyson, 0.2 of a second separate them. Craig Roffey is still there, if you don't mind. Gary Wellman sitting second and, just over a second behind. So he's going to try and catch, but we're getting ready to go 3 abreast. They were trying, and Daniel Stevens still maintaining the lead. Andrew Dyson still on the charge, on the attack. And Daniel Stevens screws it sideways a little bit as we change back down to Chris Tomlin. He's in 10th position. He's having a bit of a fight with Henry Fenson, Dave Douglas there. Henry Fenson's going to be trying to push up to the back of him. We'll see if there's a change for the top 10. But let's talk about the casualties really quickly with the race start. We haven't seen any replays as such, but we are going to go back to lap 1. We did have a couple of cars have a couple of issues. We're going to go to the Skypoynt replay. Let's see what we're going to see here. This is as we are heading up Mountain Straight to the famous Griffin's Bend. There's Roffey, and I wonder who that is, but watch this. We're on this right down. Roffey 1, Roffey 2 involved in this one, and they're both into the barrier.
Yeah, that was where we got a little bit overexcited, wasn't it, when we're coming up to turn 2, and notably that one of the, I think it may have been the 212, or it was one of the LCR inside lane productions car, got a little bit loose, got lucky out of that, and it was the Roffey. Just grabbed the grass and he tried to straighten it up and into the side, and well, it was just a dominoes effect. But well, that's lap 1. We're lap 4 now, and this battle is continuing. And I'll tell you, I'm looking at the timing charts, Ryan, and everyone's in their own little battle. The front 3 are sort of checked out just a little bit, but the rest of the field is having a good battle. Who we got on screen now? The 20 car at the minute is Alex Smith, and he's got a car behind him that's looking in the mirrors. I just we'll stay on board with this, but Andrew Dyson, I think if he wants to make a move for the lead later on, it's going to be at that final corner. I did call it that he was strong under brakes at that point of the track, and well, he proved it when we were on board. We're on board with Steve Dubb. He's just gone through the chase at the minute, but all in all, this has been pretty good. And remember, we only got 3 laps to go as well. We're not doing 100 laps here tonight, Brian. We're doing 8 in one hit.
Yeah, and young Pete, you're used to 161 laps of the Bathurst 1000, calling that one 6 hours. They used it there for commentate push buttons. And this time, you get to sit back, relax, only 8 laps. Or 2 sets of 8 laps, 1 set of 14 laps. So quite small amount of laps. As we see Andrew Dyson, he grazed the wall there just before. If you saw a little bit of a puff of smoke, Gary Wellman is pushing. But Pete, you've had heaps of experience here, and you're obviously in your little bubble. You're loving it. Craig Roffey, there's a bit of a mistake there, just narrowly missing the barrier. And he's in third. He's in the on the back end of the podium. Sorry, I got there eventually. However, that's now going to allow Gary Wellman to get right on the back end of him. The 2 green cars. I call Wellman a green Power Ranger, but now there's a contest for that one, and Craig Roffey seems to be another Power Ranger. But Andrew Dyson now side by side down, heading down Conrod Straight. Who's going to be able to get it? We're going down through the chase, and Daniel Stevens is able to keep his lead at the moment. Andrew Dyson still a bit behind. You can see the gap, but he's going to have another peak here around the outside. But Daniel Stevens just stays defensive, just tries to block Andrew Dyson off and try and keep the number 41 off his tail. But Pete, like you said earlier, everyone's in their own little bubble. We have the top 2 fighting And that's Daniel Stevens and Andrew Dyson, Craig Roffey and Gary Wellman in the background there. They're having a bit of a fight. Trent Gosley, we can see down the very back. Look at the gap behind him. That's Wade Sheedy that's only just coming through Hell Corner now. And
everyone's Dyson down the inside of turn 2. Sorry to talk over you, Ryan. Dyson down the inside. These guys at the front are really battling. Dyson now to the lead. Ryan, sorry to talk over you. They were side by side, and then the next battle was side by side again. Getting a little bit excited. I can't contain myself, Junior. I'm over talking the lead, mate. Oh, I do apologise.
That's no problem, and like you just said, change of the lead. Andrew Dyson finally pounces on Daniel Stevens, finally finds the opportunity. And as we just had a look at the camera angle, I noticed the 60 kilometre an hour speed limit, and I don't think the drivers are going to stick to this one here. Bathurst, Andrew Dyson in the lead. He's going to try and run, and Daniel Stevens gets very loose there. There's a pass of one of the Skypoynt trucks that's just letting them pass. That is Tommy Pritchard. Just staying out of everyone's way. Sweet little Tom. We love him. He's awesome. But we're still looking up at the front. Andrew Dyson, 1.4 seconds is the gap back to Daniel Stevens. The gap has opened. And on our bottom right-hand side, we can see how quick the trucks are going. 260 Ks, 270 over the bump, over the hump, over the little hill, whatever you want to call it. 296 I just saw, and he stomps on the brakes 4 kilometres off what the supercars do, and he gets it stopped beautifully down the bottom. And the chase, Andrew Dyson, 1.3 seconds is the gap back to Daniel Stevens, and Daniel Stevens now going to try and play catch up. Lap number 7 we're about to turn up onto Pete. The laps are going quick, the times are going down fast, and we have a battle at the moment for the back end of the podium. Craig Roffey versus Gary Wellman. The gap between them is just 0.2 of a second, so they will be fighting.
Battle's been the one that never ends, really, these two, and I'll just cut back to a little bit before, because we're all about throwing people under the bus. And sweet little Tom, where did that come from, Ryan? Sweet little Tom. We've described Toms, in so many different ways, but sweet little Tom, do you care to elaborate?
I'm pretty sure he's a little bit on the short side, so that explains the short. So are you, Pete? I've seen you in real life, and mate, you're like a little dwarf, you're like a little elf, and that does fit the Christmas theme, because you are quite short. I look down on you, and that's what I love. Right, you throw me under the bus, I've called back up, I've grabbed you, and I've thrown you under the next one. But we're looking at the back end of the top 10. Henry Fenson, he is on the tack of Varsel, who is a bit off the back of Riley Curtis. Pete, throw me under the bus, and I'll throw over too.
Well, you did. Pete won, Ryan won. How good is it? Lap 7 of 8. Dyson, Stevens, Roffey. That's your 3. Wellman's not letting go either. A little bit of battle in the mid-pack. We're right on board. Or we've got Andy Barber, your old boy, in throwing under the bus. He's throwing me under the bus with buttons now, but Andy Barber was on board. But the green machines, Roffey and Wellman, the battle that never ends down Conrod Straight. And I just touched on before, 296 kilometres an hour at the braking zones through the chase. That's only 4 kilometres off what a supercar is. We've got a car off here. Where's that? That's that's off the exit of Forest Elbow. I reckon he's gone a little bit too deep in there. We'll grab a replay when we can. But Wellman and Roffey, they're in the heat of it, and here we go. Wade Sheedy. What happened here? I reckon he's gone a little bit too deep. No, he's gone sideways in here. Understeer and oversteer.
Looks like he's locked up the rears, and look at the drift. If you took a photo there, you'd be the nice drift, but watch, he just keeps going, and he's going to get a little bit of a kiss on that barrier, and it hits his car back onto the track. Andy Barber turning into the corner. I reckon he'll need a change of underwear after that one, because he would have been a little bit scared seeing the red machine of Wade Sheedy. But we are on our final lap of the race. Andrew Dyson, he's telling us to shush. I ain't going to shush here, Andrew. I love Bathurst, love the trucks. And I'm excited for the next race when we go reverse grid. But we're not there yet. We have to get there first. Andrew Dyson, he is our race leader, and he's 3.67, now 7 seconds ahead of Daniel Stephens. And Andrew Dyson just gliding over the top of the mountain, getting up to McPhillamy Park, Reed Park, whatever you want to call it, the all parks. And we're heading down the Brock skyline for the final time. This race for heat number 1, look how light the truck gets over the top there. It's almost like it can blow and it will float away. By Andrew Dyson coming down to Forest Elbow for the final time in this race. Let's see if he can not do a wide sheet. Let's see if he can pull this one up. Pulls it up beautifully, and see if he can get a good exit down Conrad Straight. Perfect. He's set his run up. Remember, Andrew, this is the last lap of the race. Don't do the jump, mate. Let's see if he can get to the finish line without tipping it off at the end here. But Peter, in my ear, do it, do it, do it. He wants it to happen, and no, he turns right, something that the NASCARs don't really do. They're not familiar with, and now he turns left. They're familiar now. Heading down to the final quarter, Andrew Dyson, number 41, DPR, simrigs.com. He is going to take the win, the lead, whatever you want to call it, for the Skypoynt NASCAR truck fun race. No championship points here, but he'll be ecstatic. And that was a good one. We'll stay on board with one of the drivers as well, and we'll probably go to we'll just stay on Andrew Dyson. Why not? We'll sit on him. Let's see if he can do the jump. And before he has the opportunity to do the jump, I'll drag him in the booth. Let's throw him under the bus. Let's throw everyone under the bus. And doesn't look like he's doing the jump after all, because Daniel Stephens gave him a little bit of a hello. But we'll throw him in the broadcast booth. Andrew Dyson, mate, you caught you mid-conversation there. Sorry to interrupt. Is Ryan, Pete, Paul in the broadcast booth, mate? You're taking the first win of one of the 3 races here tonight. Does it feel nice, or yeah, how do you feel?
Oh, it was pretty good, but then it was pretty awkward at the end there. I went to turn into the paddock, like old school Bathurst races used to do. I drove straight in front of Dan, so that was a bit awkward. But other than that, yeah, good race, man. Had some pretty good side-by-side stuff, which is pretty rare, so that was cool.
Yeah, Dyso, Ryan. Dyso, it's Pete here, mate. Hey, I noticed that the dive under brakes, you're really strong on the brakes for against Stevens coming into the last corner. You must have known that, but what happened from the start to the end of the race? You just absolutely blitzed him, and you got the race win. You got to be happy with that. Did you do a little bit of practice as well? Long question.
Oh man, I'll go try to take it backwards. I did a little bit of practice today and this afternoon. Just in the practice with the boys there. They had a session up, so I did some laps there with them. What else did we do? Yeah, good race with Dan. I'm probably a little bit strong on the brakes for sure, but he was just focused on getting a good exit. That's all you really need. So maybe it looked a little, maybe I looked a little stronger than I might have been, but I felt like I definitely had an edge there for sure. I can't remember the other questions, man.
Yeah, fastest lap of the race, mate. But inverted field, mate. How do you go through the rest of the field?
Tiptoe, I think it's pretty dangerous out there. Like, what this track's like at the best of times, and these cars are pretty hard to handle. So, yeah, we'll have a go, mate. Just cruise around and say how to travel and try and make it home to the finish with a clean truck, because that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and to clean trucks, you need no fast repairs. So you give the wall a bit of a kiss. I think I saw you give the wall a little bit of a kiss during that race, and you don't want to kiss it too hard, because you don't want a face full of concrete and your tail between your legs. But anyway, we're heading into our second race. I'll throw you back in, and good luck for that one, starting from the back. So good luck.
Thanks, man.
And I'll just jump in there, Ryan. Quote of the day so far, call of the day. You don't want to kiss that wall too hard, or you're going to get a face full of concrete. Brian Barber. Brilliant. That was absolute stellar. I don't think I've ever heard anything described as a race driver as that. That was awesome. That's going to stick with me for a long time, I think. Don't kiss the wall too hard. You get a face full of concrete. But how good was that race? They got to do it all again, but the hard way.
And reverse grid. And who do we find at the front? Sebi Vindel. And let's throw him under the bus before he starts the race. Sebi Vindel, mate. Ryan, familiar with, Fortnite buddy. Peter Grennan. Paul in the broadcast booth too, but a little bit of chaos, mate. You're starting on the front or the second row for this race, mate. How do you feel? Are you excited?
Yeah, hopefully we can have a better race than last race, because that was a bit chaotic. Bit of net code there, but yeah, let's see how we go on this one.
Yeah, well, it seems
Missing
like
your number 4?
Sorry, what was that?
you're missing in the full, mate.
Yeah, give us a wave, mate. You're on camera too. Don't bin it.
Don't blow the engine.
Try not to, yeah.
All right, quick chat. All right, good luck, Sebi.
Thank you, cheers, boys.
And that was Sebi Vindel. Decided to have a little quick chat with him, talk a little bit of shit. We love doing that. But the front row, Sebi Vindel and Troy Davidson. And it's going to be interesting to see Sebi promoted up to second from third. Looks like whoever was starting second did not start second. So he will like that. Front row for Sebi, front row for Troy. Let's see who can get who in the first corner. Troy Davison, Quicket, Ovals, Sebi Vindel, Quicket, Road. Who's going to get this one? We're green for the second time. Consolidation race. Lap 1 out of 8. Who's going to make it through turn number 1? And looks like no cars have gone around yet. I will say yet because we are heading up Mountain Straight for the second green flag. There's chaos down the back. There's cars everywhere. Cars left, right, and centre. Trent Grosley's facing the wrong way. And Andrew Dyson doesn't get the face full of concrete, like I said before, but we do have a few cars smoking there, a couple cars smoking back there. I've said that twice. I'm excited. I'm pumped. But how crazy is this? Already have had carnage in the first stages of the race. More carnage. And Sebi Vindel's in the lead, but everyone else piling up down at the back end. And it's an absolute pile up. And the cars are everywhere. That's a smoking Andy Barber too. Everyone is everywhere. The truck is blocked.
There we go, I got it.
Chaos.
Mark Larkham, the truck is jammed here on iRacing.
How crazy is that? Cars left, right, and centre. That's the number 20 that we saw before. Christopher Tomlin. He's in the barrier. He's stuck there. Cars smoking. No one. Absolutely no one apart from a few drivers. And that looks like it's only Sebi Vindel and others that have survived. Sebi, he's 4 seconds in the lead. 1 lap, not even down. And cars everywhere. Cars crushing turn 1. Turn number 2. People haven't even made it to turn 3. The cutting. Nothing without crushing. And 5 seconds is the lead. Everyone's smashed up. Dave Douglas, look, he's damaged as well. Everyone's damaged. We can see Bruns there in 3rd position now. This is wild. This is crazy. We've seen 2 pile-ups and the track was blocked. Mark Larkham, his quote, "The track is blocked."
How good was it? And, you know, put NASCAR trucks at this great track, and Brock's he's just shivering. I think he's been like, "What are you doing? We're gonna put a spell on you," and he did. We had contact. We had a big carnage in turn 2. We had carnage in turn 1 and 2 for race 2, and well, the race continues though. I'm not too sure if iRacing controls the safety cars in circuit racing, Ryan. You may be able to elaborate. Are we going to see the yellow flag out here tonight, or is that abandoned? Cool story.
Sorry about that. I am here. I'm here. No one panic. I am here. I'm not asleep. I'm awake. I'm excited. I'm pumped.
Oh, he's awake.
I muted my mic because I was screaming. I didn't want to absolutely blast your ears. But road, no safety cars, local yellows only. And during the ovals, the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series, the normal championship rounds, we do have the caution that does come out that is brought out by iRacing. However, for the circuits, we don't have the yellow flag safety car enabled. We could, however, we'd have 1,000 cautions a race. But with that one, I reckon there's a lot of damaged cars, a lot of blown engines, a lot of brown stains, a lot of underwear changes, and a lot of balls through that one. But Sebi Vindel, 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.8. We're about to get 10 seconds ahead of the entire field. Focus on Andy Barber, only just surviving that one. He has Roffy right up his backside. I don't think he wants Roffy to be there. I reckon he wants Roffy to go our way. Craig Roffey, look at him. He is on the charge to get past Andy Barber. Andy Barber's going to be defensive here. Andrew Dyson starting last. He's P6 as well. Stephen Williams, his teammate, is up in P5. Wade Sheedy crashed out last race. He is in P5 now. He is damaged. Dave Douglas doing the jump after the race earlier. He's P3. And C. Bruns, let's see what his real name is. Colin Bruns from Middle Finger Racing, 333. He's in second.
Mello.
And Che Mello's decided to give the concrete a little bit of a cuddle, and he turns his truck around. Sebi Vindel now at 10.5 seconds is the lead. Back to P number 2. We're looking at Che Mello here in the replay. See what's going to happen here, and looks like he threw his talent out the window, and looks like he's going for a spin.
Yeah, he was lucky to get away with that. He got he came into the skyline a little bit too hot, and he's right now he's thinking, don't hit the wall, don't hit the wall. Oh, yes, I didn't hit the wall. How do I get out of that? Hit the wall. Sorry, mate. But Che Mello let a bit of a mistake over the skyline. Done all the hard work, didn't he, to not hit the wall and then backed into the wall. Sebastian Vandel, will he blow an engine? 11 seconds to lead.
Hopefully not. I reckon he's having a great race and looking very Christmassy there. Just a full black car, looking really nice. He's in a nice position, 11 seconds up in the front, and I'd love to bring him up in here, but I reckon he might get a little bit too excited and crash. We don't want that to happen. I'm touching wood, left, right, and centre. Don't crash, Sebi. Let's see if he can make it. One of the only people that made it out of that last wreck alive. We don't have a replay just yet. We need Paul to scramble along the replay and throw it at us. Give us a hit it from the 3 line and give us our replay. But you know what, Paul, Pete, I reckon I'll throw Paul into this one. Sebi Vindel, this is the first race that he's done for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. Here at Road, here at Bathurst, I told you earlier he's one to look out for, and look at him in first position.
Yeah, and have a look at this replay again at turn 2, where the track was most definitely jammed. Mark Larkham, he said it. It's a little bit further up too, wasn't it, when it happened in real life? Turn 2 here for the Skypoynt NASCAR Trucks Fun Series here at Bathurst, or not Fun Series, Fun Race here at Bathurst, and we'll just try and break that down. Have a look at there we go. 2 of the teammates into each other there, friendly fire. And the Skypoynt car gets through and then everyone just goes, oh, what the? Pretty much that's what they said.
Yeah, and they said, what the? And I reckon a couple of swear words came out, and then brown stains. But, however, it's a fun race. Everyone's here for fun. But look, do you reckon this is fun? Look at this, Cam. Can you find a way out, Pete? And I reckon if you ran up Mountain Straight there into turn number 2 and was greeted with that, I don't think you had a chance to stop, or anyone really.
Well, generally I can't get around here without a blockage, but there's a blockage, so I couldn't get through. And I'm going to abuse the privileges a little bit, and we've got Sebi Vindel in the chat live, mate. Live, 14 seconds of lead. Hopefully Paul can keep up. We'll jump on board with you, Sebi, for the next race. Carnage for race 2. How does these trucks feel around here? And whether you like it or not, mate, once you cross the line, give us a commentated at least half a lap. It's only a short, sharp lap here, but race, I mean. But once we cross the line, Sebi, commentate a lap, mate, because, could you dream of it? 15 seconds. This is better than the last race. That's what you hope for.
It's definitely a lot better than the last race. These things are hard enough to keep on the road with max concentration, but I'll do my best to commentate a lap for you. But yeah.
Yeah,
go for it, mate. We'll jump on board. Go for it. Let's go for it, Paul. Let's go for it, Ryan. Let's shut up. Debbie, floor's yours.
Yeah, young Sebi, go for it, mate.
First, you got to keep it on the road, but you want to get a good run on the main straight here. So keep it narrow, minimise the wheel spin if you can. We didn't do that there. Up to third gear, braking just before the 100 down to second gear here. Trail braking all the way in. Important to try and keep the car straight on the exit in these cars because they get a lot of wheel spin. But this is probably the only time to rest before you have a handful up here at the top of the mountain. But up to fourth gear, just before you go over the hill here and you get a lot of wheel spin, it kicks out a bit. Braking at the 150, down to second gear. Use the camber in the road to carry the car around the corner. Minimise the wheel spin on the exit. Going off gear up to third. Braking really early down to second. It's really important to get a late apex here to get a run up the hill because momentum is key in these cars. Over the crest, up to third gear before the corner. Minimise the wheel spin. Down to the grade here. This is a very difficult part of the track, especially in these cars. Quite a lot of understeer. Right out to the wall. Trail braking into here to get the weight on the front to get it to turn. A little bit of curve here. This is my favourite part of the track down here, sending it through here. Down to second gear. Try and hug the corner here and get a good run down here. A little bit of oversteer. A lot of wheel spin there. Braking just at the apex of the orange wall there. You gotta slow it right down here and try and get the best run you can onto the Conrod. You had a lot of wheel spin.
Wow.
That looked cool.
And
That looked cool. We can't really do the rest of the lap, can we, Ryan? There's battles everywhere, but Ryan, mate, that looks sick, eh?
Yeah, and Paul, don't get off this one. Stay on board with Sebi. If you move, mate, I'm throwing you under the bus, and that is a threat. But here's heading down the chase, down to the final couple corners, and we saw his lap just before. He's on the absolute edge. Look at him. Look at the car dead, like it's sideways. This car, number 9, Sebi, mate, he can't keep the car straight. He's just constant wheel spin sideways. The truck just won't stay straight. He can't get the power down if it's starting to skew. It's like he's feathering the throttle all the time, being so careful with every move he makes, every decision he makes, every throttle input, brake input, anything. He's so careful. And there's a reason why there's 18 seconds back to the number 11 of Bruns. But Sebi, we'll let you concentrate for the last 2 laps, mate. And thanks very much for jumping in, mate.
cheers to that. It may not be the fastest, but it sure is fun driving this thing.
Mate. and we'll throw you back in after the race when you win it. Anyway, so Sebi Vindel, that was the number 9 truck. He is the current race leader. 20 seconds is the gap. We're now looking at Andy Barber, the old man. He's in P number 7, and he's doing a great job, staying consistent as always. And he's keeping his truck nice and clean. But as clean as he could make it after dealing with the last accident earlier on. Looking at the back of his truck, Trent Gosley, the number 4. He was backwards. He was facing the wrong way at the start of the race, and now he's right on the tail of Andy Barber. So let's see what's going to happen if we stay on this view, and we'll watch the attack of the Gosley on the back of Andy Barber as we're heading up the top of the mountain. Starting the climb is getting Trent Gosley here, getting his nose pointed a little bit at Andy Barber coming through Reed Park for the 6th time. Andy Barber getting a little bit sideways, a little bit of kiss on the wall, a little bit of kiss of the curb on the exit. Solomon Park, we're going over the top of the mountain now. This is where it matters, the great. And Trent Gosley getting a little bit drifty on the exit up McPhillamy. Now we're up at Skyline, and we're heading down the S's through Brock's Skyline. The gap opens just a little bit. Trent Gosley gains a little bit now. So the drivers here have some strong parts of the track, some weak parts. They have the strengths, the weaknesses, and Trent in some places may be stronger where Andy is weaker, and vice versa. But we are heading down Conrod Straight. We've just gone through Hell Corner. No, we're not. Forest Elbow. Sorry, I'm looking at the map upside down as we're heading down Conrod Straight. My English is going out the window. I'm getting too excited here. I'm about to burst with excitement. But the chase, we're heading down into Trent Gosley, gets past Andy Barber, and we're heading down to Murray's Corner. I'm about to burst. Pete, mate, 7 laps down. Sebastian Vindel, 20 seconds back to second place. Kobe Jordan here, inside lane Sim Sports, We have cars everywhere. We have action everywhere. We have so much to talk about with so little time. But, mate, predicting what happened in the first lap, that amounts to chaos. That was unbelievable.
Well, yeah. Race 1 was great. Race 2 was even better with the carnage side-by-side action again with these two. But we'll stay on board with these, and I'll just talk a little bit of rubbish. But race 1 was great. Race 2 was awesome. Race 3, what are we got to look forward to? It's going to be where you finish is where you start. Sebi, we said in the interview that we were talking before this race, what do you want to do better for coming into the next race? Well, do better than the last one. He done better, and without taking anything from him, he's got a 21-second lead due to the chaos that we had at the start. And this is what it's all about. The Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series, and this is a non-championship round here at Bathurst. They are taking it just slightly a little bit serious than what we anticipated. These guys are battling. And it was funny, going back on that lap that we watched with Sebi, he was anticipating the oversteer, anticipating the understeer, and he spoke through that lap absolutely brilliantly. He done a great job. Sebi Vandel drops down to third. We got an issue there, I think, with P3. Maybe, he's dropping down. Sebi Vandel, Paul, where is he? I think he's dropped out of the session. A little bit of a dropout and was leading by 21 seconds. Andrew Dyson now is our leader, up 25 positions.
And let's jump on Sebastian Vandel. Not too sure. He's not even moving, I don't think. He's just tumbling down the order. And he's in P9 now, just about to go overtaken by Wade Sheedy. Not sure what happened. Something happened, but we'll... In a frantic...
I threw him under the bus, I think. He was doing good. There? What happened?
Sebi, you there?
Network failure, I do believe. Ryan, he's not in Discord. He's not on the track. 21 seconds. Now, if that's not the biggest throw under the bus or commentator's curse, I don't know what is. Sebi, you're doing great. You've done everything. 21 seconds lead. Gone. What's going to happen? Dyson, Bruns, Williams, that's your three. And we're having a look at them now coming up Mountain Straight. Oh,
Mountain Straight. Bit of smoke going everywhere. That's Craig Roffey looks damaged. But Andrew Dyson will throw back up to Andrew Dyson, who is our effective race leader, our new race leader. Andrew Dyson, he's won the first one. He's about to win the second one. This is the final lap of heat number 2. Our race number 2, should we say. And Sebi, not too sure what happened with him. That's unfortunate. That's not what we wanted to see with young Sebi, but this is the final lap of the race. Andrew Dyson taking the lead, 25 positions up for where he started. Sebi Vandel out. He's not in the race. He's not in the session. He's not in the Discord. Not too sure what happened with him. He had an all-body lead, and it's just gone all to shit. And now we have Andrew Dyson, who's in the lead, and he's about to take the win for the second time this round, this non-championship round, heading down Conrad Straight for the 8th time this race, and he's about to take the win heading down Conrad. 294 kilometers an hour, and all the drivers have tackled 18 laps together. So if you combine the two races that these drivers are going through, is just a little bit over the last race distance. So that's going to be exciting to see. But Andrew Dyson, number 41, Simrigs.com DPR, he takes the win for the second race of this round here at Bathurst, Mount Panorama. We have Bruns here taking the second position. We're jumping back to Stephen Williams, who's now taking third. Craig Roffey fourth. Trent Gosley fifth. Andy Barber, he's up into P6. Riley Curtis P7. Dave Douglas P8. Kobe Jordan P9. And Wade Sheedy, he is ending your top 10. But Pete, I did not expect that to happen. I'm in shock, and that's not how we wanted it to go.
Well, it's not how Dyson wants to take the win. It's not how Sebi would want to exit this race. Hopefully he can get back in and get it. But I tell you, ladies and gentlemen watching, how good is this? But do not be surprised next season in iRacing we see we see a truck race at Bathurst because this has been, mate, it's entertainment everywhere. Paul, I'm not too sure. Your mouse is probably overworked. How are you keeping up with it?
Yeah, well, I've finished my beer. I need to go to the fridge grab another one. But it's entertaining. It's pretty getting hot here, and the beer's going down well. And yeah, I'm pretty excited in my seat here.
And it's exciting.
A festive season. It's a festive season. Let's have a beer, Ryan, and look at DD.
Look at this. And we see Dave Douglas is showing his heroics after being in the top 10. I guess he didn't take any win or anything like that, going down backwards down Mountain Straight. But that concludes our second race of the round. Andrew Dyson taking out both those wins. Andrew Dyson now starting in the pole position for the next race. Sebby Vindell, huge curveball with that. But I'll find someone to talk to. Let's see if we can shit talk with someone, because we do have a 5-minute warm-up. And before we bring the obvious Andrew Dyson in, I'm not too sure. And a word of unfortunate news that Sebby Vindell had a blackout. And speaking about blackouts, why don't we bring him in? The moment I saw you in, the moment I snatched you up, just saw in general chat there they had a blackout. That's unfortunate, mate.
Yeah. Pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's not what you wanted to happen. It's not what we wanted to happen. I was actually cheering you on, knowing that you were 20 seconds plus. But you know what, Seb? You did amazing. You drove quick. You nailed everything perfectly. But a bit of a recap on that. How did the race go for you before? How did the race go for you up until the blackout?
It was going good. Lap 1 was a bit of a run situation when I saw everyone piled up behind me, but yeah, it was going alright until the blackout. But yeah, we'll see if we can get in for the last race and see if we can salvage it. Yeah,
shit happens. 4 minutes to get in the session before the race, but throw over to Pete, because I know that Pete was pretty excited watching you too. He loved watching you in the lead, especially with that distance that you had to the cars behind you. But I'll throw you over to Pete.
Well, mate, you probably have me to blame for that one. I think the commentators cursed straight onto me because I said, this bloke, he wanted to do something better. He's doing it right now. He's leading about 21 seconds. And then I just went speechless. Well, 20 seconds in the lead. I think, it's Mount Panorama, Sebby. I think Peter Brock had something to do with that, because we all know the legend of Peter Brock lives up in the mountain. But if he doesn't want you to win it, you got to take it, don't you?
Yeah, he came and unplugged the power.
His spirit did, at least, yes. But, well, what are you going to do in race 3, mate? You got to pit? Any strategies? You do any practice? What setup you going, mate? We know VRS don't do setups here. What are you doing for setup? Did you do practice, or are you winging it?
I'm going to turn the power station back on.
Well, yeah, I suppose you need that before you need a setup.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of praying for another blackout, because some of the lights are flickering, and apparently there's going to be another one, they say. But full send and baseline less fuel for a setup.
Baseline less fuel. In other words, this is what we used to tell everyone in a session, for everyone watching that's not sort of switched on with iRacing. If you're in an iRacing official session and someone asks for a setup, you'd be like, oh, I'm only using baseline less fuel. So that's a trigger for me saying Seb's got a setup. And, well, he was 20 seconds in the lead before Brock said, nah, mate. So, have a look at that. Impact. He had nowhere to go, Tom Pritchard. Just smashed, I think that's Stevie Dubb. Daniel Stevens, sorry. No, that was Vassal. Got it wrong again. Third time lucky. But, Sebby, great race, mate, until it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know. The setup I'm using is Watkins Glen fixed. So, no flashy setup, but I'll go hit the jump for you.
Let's jump on board. Oh, and what? Oh, he's in the setup now. Let's go to Sebi, Paul. He's going to do the jump.
And while we're watching Sebi, I did sneakily bring Andrew Dyson into the booth. We'll interview him really quickly as we flick over to Sebastian Vondel going down the jump as he climbs the mountain to do so. However, Andrew Dyson, you won race 1, you won race 2, and Sebi's drifting up the front, up the top of the mountain, mate. How does it feel taking out both the wins? So you're going to try and take obviously you're going to try and take the win for the third one, but how do you think you're going to take this one?
I don't feel like I won the last one. It was a bit of a steal, wasn't it? It's a bit unfair, but it sucks for Sebi, obviously. But I don't know. Yeah, I suppose I need to go out and do the best I can. Like, there's a pit stop in this race, I believe, as well. So that throws a bit something to mix.
Not for you though. You got to run out of fuel, Dice.
I hope not.
Well, yes, you are correct. There is a pit stop, but I reckon we should throw you 2 pit stops to see what happens. But very quickly, before you go onto the grid, sorry that we couldn't have you here longer, we were talking to Sebi as Sebi is elbowing my teammate into the barrier, which is pretty funny. Throughout the race, the big pile-up, how did you manage to dodge that?
I came to a complete stop for about 15 seconds, I reckon, or maybe even more. Yeah, I just had to watch these dudes in front of me do some doughies and get going and crash into the walls a few more times. But, man, that was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? I mean, there was no real way to get out of it cleanly for those guys, and everybody else has had to wait. So,
yeah, that's right. It was a mess. And, messy start for the first, and then we had some pretty good racing towards the end. But you are gritty up now. I'll throw you back down into A1. Not too sure where you want to go, Sebi. If you want to stay up here, feel free. But we are racing for the final time.
Sebi. Jump in, Sebi. Commentate drive. I think that's what Sebi said. Junior.
I can if you want. I'll give it my best.
Oh, do we need him in here? Do we want him in here? I reckon he'd be good, but it's up to you, boys.
Well, Sebi, you know that me and you are a bit of mischief when we're together and a bit of fun. But Paul, guess what I'm doing? I'm throwing you under the bus, mate. How about you flick your mute mic off? Let's have a little chat to you before the race, the feature. You haven't said much. You've kicked back, had the drinks, just sipping along and getting on the piss, mate. How about we have a bit of a quick chat to you, mate? First and second race, how do you feel that? How do you feel that went? Sorry, I got it out eventually.
Well, you definitely heard how I felt. Was having a few beers, having a few laughs as well in the background. But it looks to be a fun race out there. Some of the drivers putting on a show for everyone as well. Sebi getting the drifting going. Wellman was getting a lot of sideways action as well. So good.
Bring us the green, mate. Bring us the green, Paul. Yep. It's been one apiece. It's all on you, Paul.
Alrighty, Dicey into the last corner here. He's got the turbo vacuum. He's bolted a turbo onto the vacuum instead of a lawnmower. So he's taking the green here next to Craig Roffey out of P2. And we are under green coming into turn 1. We haven't seen a carnage out of turn 1 yet. So all the drivers getting through turn 1 all right. But making our way up the mountain. A few cars starting out of pit lane this one. But,
and we're making our way up the mountain. Sorry to cut you off, Paul, but lap number 1 so far, Andrew Dyson, he's pushed out in the lead so far. No Carnage so far through turn number 1, but we are still going to go through turn number 2, where we had action last time. Wade Shooty, Trent Gosley getting together.
Douglas around.
Another pile up. Everyone's going to slow down now. Dave Douglas pits as quick as he can. He slams the escape button, and there's damaged cars everywhere. Where's Sebi? P12. Did he get through it? No, he didn't. He's wrecked. His car's smoking. He's smoking. Sebi, you're too young for that. But, oh, wow. Wow, Sebi.
It blew up.
It blew up. You did a Sebi, and you didn't even have the number 4 on. But number 2, I think, in NASCAR trucks here at Bathurst, number 2, anyone that's watching on, just don't do it. Because number 2, just delete it. You go 1, 3 and continue the track. Because number 2... is shit actually, and turn 2 is turning out to be the same as we see car number 4. Just go back to pits, but
wow. Sorry to cut you off. Number 2 is a number. And what humans do, they take a big shit, as I'll say. But look at Trent Gosling hitting the backhand there. And
Reiterates.
no doubtedly, all drivers will be going, oh shit, like Gary Wellman goes, oh shit, here as he gets hit. And look at that. And we'll look at the number 4. Look at everyone dodging everyone. Number 2 needs a change of their underwear. After that one, carnage, absolute carnage for the start of the race. Not as bad as the last race, but Sebi, mate, you blew your engine as usual. You tend to do that quite a lot, but you're not in the track. You're not on track, sorry. Your engine's in space. But seeing that you're not racing, we'll throw you in the broadcast booth. You can commentate with us for that one. You said that we can, that me and you should race control together. Well, this is the next best thing. Sebi, take it away for the first lap. We have Wade Sheedy in P number 2. We're looking at on screen Craig Roffey behind him. Andy Barber's also there. And Gary Wellman, Tom Pritchard, Riley Curtis, Daniel Stevens, Henry Finston, and Chris Tomlin. That's your top 10. But Sebi, mate, I'll throw you under the bus after you blow your engine. You blow your engine, mate, you're talking.
Under the bus, all right. Well, I don't have any data or anything to look at, so
it's all there, mate. Just have a look at the screen and call what you see. That's the motto.
That'll be a first. Henry Fenson on screen, best lap time 2:26 so far. I mean, it's only been lap 1, so might have been caught up in a couple incidents there, but slowly getting onto the back of Stevens, and I don't know really what to say.
On debut. You've done all right, mate. Thrown under the bus, on debut. Riley Curtis is on screen at the minute as they make their way down the mountain. And, well, Dyson, Sheedy, Roffey, that's your 3. And Dyson already with an 8-second lead. Similar, Sebi, to you. You had probably an 8-second lead as we jump on board with the battle. There's a Skypoynt car in trouble. He's getting caught up. The car's behind him. Big accident. Whoa. Oh, I think that was Andy Barber. He must have been looking in his mirror going, woo. Yeah, thank God you done that, because he was under fire.
And we're looking at Daniel Stevens at the time, and Daniel absolutely nailing that barrier. He's getting to the wrong replay. Thanks, Paul, as always. But Daniel Stevens involved in that one. And I'm pretty sure that was Riley Curtis involved as well. Both those cars kissed the barrier a little bit too hard down at Forest Elbow. Chaz Mostert flashbacks with that one. We're not on the live feed at the moment because we could obviously, Daniel Stevens is driving, and it looks like I don't think he can drive after that impact. So we'll probably go back to live in just a sec once Paul's sorted this out. But the lead...
You can always do a Pete and fast forward.
That hurts to the core, Sebi. Hey, Sebi, when you throw a counterpart commentator under the bus, you've made it, mate. So Sebastian Vandel, the newest commentator on iRacing, have a look at this. He's going for it.
And talk about having a look at this. We're focusing on Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard. Actually, Andy Barber's checked away from his teammate Tom Pritchard. Young Tommy, he's getting bullied by Riley Curtis. Riley Curtis getting a bit... No, this isn't live, sorry. Riley Curtis getting over and cutting the track and getting past Daniel Stevens. As we have an awesome slow-mo shot of that. We're watching them go down the mountain and still looking at slow-mo. So we might get there hopefully before Christmas. But we'll see what happens.
Hey, Paul, you're flat, mate. I don't know if you've been thrown under a bus or a steamroller here tonight, but Junior's really hammering you tonight. It's been great. But the team behind this great series, if you think it's good now, have a look at the rest of the series. The replay's still rolling and still sideways. Here we go. Middle finger racing. They used to catch me up too, Ryan. I think they used to. Oh, look at this. Oh, no, yeah, that's a 10 for, I don't know, I think Schultze said the best, gymnastics sort of thing.
Giving it the yellow car.
Oh, hold on, your sister's in gymnastics, what do you give that for execution?
It could be better, but maybe an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? 8 out of 10. Fuck, you're harsh. Oh,
And
I just said the F, my bad.
And I reckon there's a little bit messy as well because you did see the carbon fibre absolutely shatter all over the track. Andrew Dyson, and we'll speak about number 2 earlier on, but Andrew Dyson absolutely shitting on the field at the moment. He is in P1, 13 seconds ahead of everyone else. Wade Judy in second, Gary Wellman third. Andy Barber's like a couple seconds away from Gary Wellman.
Oh, the 15's around.
And it's always the 15-year-olds. Hey, Sebby, mate.
He fenced it. He fenced it.
Henry Fenton, familiar with his last name. He's in the fence, unfortunately, but it looks like he's got himself going again in P number 10. And we have Tony Roffey just ahead of him too. So he's going to try and get past Tony. And familiar with the Roffies as well. There's too many of them to count. Too many Rockies to count on my fingers. But a drag race is now unfolded with the 111. And Henry Fenton. And it looks like there's a car in the barrier too. As we saw, and not Shane Van Gisbergen, it's Danny Varsel, and he's facing the wrong way. It looks like everyone else is avoiding it nicely. And Sebby, mate, the 3 under the bus. Yeah, you blew your engine. A lot of people blow their engines, and you're the most notable for it. But we'll throw you into this one. Awesome, Sebby, mate. You were doing awesome in race number 2, and a bit of bad luck in this one.
Well, it was going all right. I actually had a pretty good start if you want to go watch the replay of it. But it was actually a pretty good start. I think I made nearly 10 positions off before turn 1.
And
the track wasn't jammed in this race, mate. The track wasn't jammed in this race, so you had to get them. You had to get them, and you had to do them, properly, I suppose. In race 2, you sort of just went, hey, nope. You crash, I'm going to win. And this one, you've done it pretty good, and then you blew your engine. So, yeah, it's probably, you could probably flip race 2 and 3 around in the way of emotion, isn't it, Sammy? Because the first one, you're like, holy hell, how did that happen? And then you were saying the same words in the 3rd and final race, but on the opposite, it wasn't very happy.
And
the second race wasn't the best. I might have got the little F-bomb. And my dad came in here,
Oh, that's why you got a flat ear now.
yeah. It's a bit sore. No.
And I will notably say, the 5-minute warm-up, I reckon there was a bit of a purpose. Maybe the Skypoynt guys had a little bit of a prediction that was going to happen because it gave 5 minutes to allow 25 drivers to change their underwear after that one. And Sebby is probably one of them too, because I reckon they all shut themselves when they saw everyone piled up, everyone facing each other, and the track being absolutely blocked. Andrew Dyson said just before when we spoke to him that he did sit stationary for about 20 seconds, and he did manage to avoid that just by stopping on the track. Race 3, pit stops are in play for this one, and so I can see that Daniel Stevens and Che Mello are the first to blink in the pit lane. Lap number 5 out of 14. Sebby, not too sure if you did any calculations with your fuel, with your tyres, how long are you going to last, when are you going to need to come in, what's the critical lap number? Not too sure. I didn't do my homework. Adam Malone just brushing the wall. Did you sort out any kind of strategy for your fuel? Is there any numbers that you could give us as we see the number 85 getting involved? And Kobe Jordan gets a face full of Roffy. As they're probably going to argue again now.
Yeah, that's not my fuel.
Who was that through the inside? Who was that through the inside? Stevie Dub. Straight up the inside like he's want to crash. I go down the inside. Woo! Well, they're kissing and making out on the Bathurst. He's like, mate, I want to have a race. So he's gone down the inside and he's made a race out of it.
Yeah, that was a close moment there. But on your point, Ryan, I think you get around 10 laps of fuel, 11 if you fuel save a little bit. But the tyres, they did not like to last 8 laps from what I heard from Wade, who was in the Discord. He said you're going to have to tyre save for the race 2, which I didn't get to do for very long. But yeah.
Well, you did mention that you have to... Some drivers will want to fuel save, but it looks like you're fuel saving pretty well too, because you're using absolutely no fuel, even though your rods are up in space. However, throwing you under the bus as always. having a little bit of fun. No Fortnite tonight, unfortunately. I reckon we should have a couple games, but I will shut up about the out of sim kind of stuff. But Andrew Dyson, 20-second lead. Does this seem familiar, Sebby? You reckon Andrew's going to run out of power, or you reckon he's going to take this one?
I mean, I hope he doesn't have the unfortunate situation that I have, but look at that lap time there. 2:10. Like, there's a bloody quick lap time. He's doing it consistently as well. His last lap was a little bit slower, but not by much.
We got to talk to him, Ryan, because I think we spoke to Sebi about this point just before he hit the 20-second in lead. I reckon drag him in, man. I reckon drag him in and throw him under the bus. There's plenty of buses to be for drivers to be thrown under. I'll tell you, there's endless. 10.0 he just went. 10.04 was his last time round for Daiso. Can we put the curse on him? And Sebi, what do you reckon? Do you want to be the first one? You've already made it as a commentator, mate. What do you reckon? Throw the curse over Daiso.
Nah, I'd prefer to give him an easy racing. I don't really like to move on the block.
There's a driver coming out of you. No, switch hats, mate. Commentator hat.
Allow me to butt in the bus route broadcast booth. Andrew Dyson, throw him in here before it was a little bit of bad luck with Sebi. We'll try again, see if we can not have the commentator's curse with Andrew. Andrew, mate, it's Ryan, Pete, Paul, and Sebi in the broadcast booth. Sebi, our newest addition after blowing his engine. Are you surprised? But Andrew, 22 seconds in the lead. I reckon Sebi's a little bit familiar with that. Your race has obviously gone well.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm at the danger zone there. My internet could drop out at any moment if I'm at the magic number.
Yes.
All your power.
Yeah, bugger that.
To be honest, Daiso, that was my idea. If it happens, blame me. But, 20 seconds in the lead, I've seen a similarity, and I'm like, we got to get him in. We got to get him in.
Luckily, I was having a conversation with the boys. It could have been X-rated, but you got me just the right time.
Ooh, lucky.
Yeah.
No, all good. Oh, don't worry. We've dropped a few, mainly me, but we've dropped a few. It's all good. How's the race, mate?
I should say X-rated.
How's the race going, mate? How's Bathurst in a truck, first and foremost?
Oh, pretty weird, man. It bottoms out heaps, and it's kind of like I expected. Like, the trucks are pretty weird, like I was saying last week. Like up the hill at Watkins Glen and a few other spots on some other tracks too. They get a bit weird when they're like really compressed and stuff. And it does some pretty weird stuff as well, this thing. So it's just a matter of getting used to it where it doesn't, and just keeping it in mind as you get around so you don't understeer yourself into the fence when it plows because it's smashed into the road.
Is it? Can you share any similarities between a supercar and a truck around at Bathurst? I know a supercar oversteers and understeers. This looks like it's doing exactly the same, being the NASCAR truck. Do you treat it differently or the same?
I mean, they're pretty similar, but like most cars on the racing service are all pretty similar in that if you're going in too hard and you're understeering, you're always going to be slow off. And if you're smashing the tyres off it, well, it's not going to be good for any car on the service either, be it GT3 even, or the LMP cars, the hybrids now as well. Same thing. They're all kind of similar, but when it comes to the truck and the supercar, they are kind of similar in that they will just burst out in wheel spin, and you can lock tyres pretty easy, and it's very easy to go too fast into the corner and find yourself ploughing through it and being very slow up the straights.
Yeah, and that's
I'm keeping you. Sorry, Ryan. I'm keeping you talking because I want to sort of lapse in the concentration. I'm just being totally honest. So I'm going to throw you over to Ryan and Sebi to do the same, mate. But 21 seconds a lead. Let's hopefully we can diminish that in this round here at Bathurst.
Yeah, that's right. And Andrew, we have you obviously on screen. We did have a little bit of fun with Sebi Vindel. We'll drag him in here. We'll let the young people jump in. We'll throw the old boys out and take over this one. But Sebi, me and you both will have a little chat with Andrew here. He's coming over the top of the mountain this next lap, mate. Are you free to comment? Not commentate. Are you able to commentate? I'll use that word. Yes, sure. Let's use that word. Why don't you talk us through a lap, next lap? We won't go on board with you yet, but we won't ask you. We'll throw you under the bus with that one. We'll throw your cam up if you have it And as we can see, gliding over the bottom of the mountain, coming down the S's. Looks like your truck is planted very nicely. Do you have a setup, or are you just like Sebi using Watkins Glen?
No, I'm running the road setup. I just needed to change the gear ratio, and then I changed some other stuff too because it looked pretty wonky. And just kind of sent it.
Yeah, and sending it that you do. I'll throw over to good old Sebi, and why don't you have a little bit of chat with him while we distract him from his driving?
Well, I feel your pain, Andrew, but we definitely distracted him. He's dropped his last lap time 3 seconds slower than his bets, so I feel kind of bad, but
So I'm probably going about 2 seconds slower now. Yeah, I was probably going to be in the 11s now, so I have backed it off a bit, kind of listening to you guys a bit.
And we had Sebi commentate us a lap. We'll have you commentate a lap. We'll go on board with you, and let's talk us through a lap, mate. And we'll throw you under the bus. We'll shut up. We'll have some fun, and we get to hear a lap from Andrew Dyson, DPR Racing, number 41.
Me? You want me to do the chat? Sorry, I'm a bit confused. I thought you were asking Sebi to do it, but yeah, turn one.
Commentate, so how do you
obviously,
do it?
Most important corner on the track. I'll do the old Brocky wave to the flag marshals here because they're top lads. As you come over the hill, down to turn 2, I don't use third gear. I go straight to second with the H pattern, and sounds cooler. Just like the old days where they used to skip down gears, like the H pattern 6-speed. Adelaide turn whatever 6, 8, 9, whatever it is. Up the hill briefly into third. Straight back down to second for me. Some other guys use them first, but I'm just trying to keep some momentum up and mitigate risk for wheel spin by using second gear out of there. Quick short shift to third through here, mainly because by the time you get to this point here at the end of the ripple strip, you change the gear anyway. It's a bit awkward, so just go to third gear early. Coast it down into the grate there. Coast it out to the fence. Don't use too much curb on the right because that'll unsettle you on the way to the crest at Skyline, and then ease it back onto the throttle before you come to the run down the hill here, and a lazy shift back to second before the real tight S's, and then back to the throttle finally when you get to the differ. And a little bit of a rollout as you come through these last S's for Forest Elbow, and you really got to stop it really careful really easy coming into there to have a big understeer moment, get on the brake, lock the tyres, crash to the fence. Really tricky part of the track in these cars, and any car in fact. Wave to Steve-O as we go past here. If I had your cam up, you'd see me waving. I'm actually waving to him, but I forgot to put my cam on tonight. So, and flat out down here, pulling about 290, I reckon. Maybe a bit more in a bit of draft. And then again, straight back to second gear and a bit of rear lock in there because I don't know what I'm doing.
296 is the top speed that we saw before. Andrew Dyson just finishing up his lap, but let him have a little bit of a chat. We'll let him finish up his lap, and then we'll throw him back down into DPR. So, Andrew, thanks for commentating a lap with us. I don't want to keep you away, just a little bit sideways, drifting along. Don't know how he caught that one. We'll throw you back down. We distracted you too much, and we nearly ruined your race. But that was Andrew Dyson. Look, he's absolute sideways. The tyres will be screaming. Sebi, you know what that's like as he's heading down Mountain Straight. Seb, did you see any comparison between your laps and his laps?
Yeah, he's a lot faster, a lot smoother, a lot everything. But yeah, he looks like he's having fun out there, and he can afford to do it. He's got over a minute lead to the whole field, so yeah, he's doing a bloody awesome job at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. And like you said, we'll just take your word for it. Smoother, quicker. His engine's running, so it's all working out for him. His power's on. Everything. It's amazing. And mate, you get a sniff of victory in the supercars, and also Andrew's getting a little bit of a sniff of victory in the NASCAR trucks. People pulling to the pit lane now. Pit lane cycles starting to make their way through. We'll have a quick little look on the timings, and we'll have a look at the lapped cars, because there's a couple of cars that are not even on the track at the moment. Tony Roffey 1 lap down, Wade Sheedy 1 lap down. We know that Sebi will be upset with the Wade one, and 1 lap down. Che Mello 4 laps down, Daniel Stevens 6, same with Danny Varstal, Craig Roffey 7, Trent Gosley 9, Dave Douglas 9, Sebi Vindell 9, and looks like Troy Davison, Aaron Dillon, Nod Tompkins didn't even start the race. So a bit unfortunate for those drivers. We do have 14 cars still on the lead lap. and we're only 10 laps into this one. We're watching Andy Barber and Colin Bruns having a fight. Andy Barber now moving up in the 3rd position on the podium after Andrew Dyson not in the pit lane just yet. We'll keep an eye on Andrew. Let's see when he's going to duck into the pit lane. Probably very shortly, but it looks like Colin here is making a couple little errors. But the trucks are loose, so there may not be errors. It might just be the nature of the car. Sebi, you're very familiar with that one. You feed in concrete twice this round, and you definitely know what it's like to get it wrong, but you know that you can get it right. The second race that you had, the second race that you ran, you were absolutely on the blinder, and then the power decided to take a number 2. But Andrew Dyson now in the pit lane, he is the leader, and now he is blinking over a minute back to Gary Wellman, so we'll see where Andrew's going to fall back, but it doesn't look like anyone's going to be able to get past him. 20 seconds was the gap. Now he's on pit exit, so he's coming out, and Andrew Dyson definitely doesn't suck, but Gary Wellman in P number 2, Andy Barber in P3, Colin Bruns P4, Christopher Tomlin P5, and we can see Riley Curtis is heavily damaged there. That's Forrest Elbow biting yet again, and Henry Fenson just nearly collects Riley Curtis. We'll head over to the replay, have a little look, and Sebi, we'll get your words into this one, eh? Let's get you talking.
Yeah, this is very easy to do at this corner. You could just lock a brake or downshift a little bit too early, and then there's just shuddering, and it's nearly impossible to save it. Going down the hill here. He's tried the flick spin to get it back around, or has he made contact? Or he's come to a near stop, but he's made it through without any damage, I think.
And Tom very
touch there.
This was almost a repeat of last race. I do believe the Andy Barber had to get around a spinning car at Forest Elbow. So Tom done a good job as well to get around.
Just a quick correction. It was actually Tom twice, so it looks like he's pretty familiar with this kind of deal.
What to look for.
And he's used to seeing a car right in front of him. And this time, it wasn't Sebi as we watched him drift during the warm-up session. When he was back, he was very happy to be back, and his power was running, which is a surprise to both me, you, Paul, everyone, that his power is actually on, because it shut itself twice in the last few days. The first time was me and Sebi having a couple games on Fortnite, having a little bit of fun between the both, laughing, shitting on people, dancing on top of them when we knock them down, and then now tonight. But Alex Schmidt getting a little bit squirrely, making a little bit of contact with a couple of cars, a couple of walls. His teammate is sitting behind him. That looks like it's Roffy. So Schmidt, part of the Roffy squad, and Henry Fenson just getting into the wall just a little bit, not too much damage. His engine's running, hey Sebi, and looks like he's got himself going. But
yeah, how many times are you going to say that anyway?
Keep going. Let him go. Let him go, mate. Let him go. He's going to keep saying it. Like, this is on air now, Seb. Like, we've said it to you millions of times that, when you do... Well, we call it the number 4 or the Seb when you blow an engine. And, we're on air now, so he's got the chance to broadcast it to the people that haven't seen it. So just put it this way, Sebi. All the times that we've said in the Discord chats that we haven't been live... It's getting out there now. Dyson, Wellman, Barber, Tomlin, Pritchard. That's your 5. And the biggest mover, Tomlin, up 20 positions. Is he going to get a top 4 as we look at Dave Douglas? The Santa hat's on. He's down 13.
And just elaborating on what you just said, Pete, and we do have a pretty good variety of people in the booth. We have Pete that's short like an elf. We have Sebi that blows his engines. We have Paul that likes to let everyone else talk, and he stays quiet himself and has a couple of beers and relaxes. Let's just throw everyone at the bus at this point. We have Dave Douglas that drives backwards quicker than he drives forwards, and Andrew Dyson, the vacuum cleaner. Andy Barber, the old man, and he's doing a good job. We'll throw everyone under the bus. We have Kobe Jordan that wears goggles all day and has a little bit of a race. And that's enough shit talking for me. I'll probably have people knocking at my house now.
Hey PJ, I think we got to return serve with this to number 5. Andy Barber's doing well, and I'll just reiterate what Ryan was saying. You're just sitting back having a couple of beers, pushing buttons. How hard is it? let's get Andy in. I know Ryan won't, but let's get Andy in, Paul, and let's return serve as we continue this race. It's the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series non-championship round here at Bathurst. 0 championship points available. Plenty of shit talking available. We've got Andy Barber in the chat now. I do believe I heard the ding. Andy, he's shit talking you, mate. Junior, what's some points about Junior? I wish we had a picture of him toothless as a toddler, because he would have given you shit as a young fella.
I don't know, mate. I wouldn't be cheeky this far close to Christmas, I'd say.
Oh, mate, watch it back he is. Watch it back he is. Oh, it's everyone says your dad's your old man, but he's really reiterating and really pointing out the old bit, mate. What do you got to say to that?
Well, what I say is I brought him into this world, so I could probably take him out of it too. But I'll tell you what, these trucks here at Bathurst are a bit of a handful too. So Christmas presents all around.
Oh, how good is it, mate? NASCAR trucks, and I said it at the top of the broadcast, Andy. People are taking a little bit more serious than what we thought, right? And it takes a straight mind to really get a lap done here at Bathurst. How you finding, mate? Tyres, they going off? What's the fuel like? What's as a driver behind the wheel? What's it feel like, mate? Bathurst trucks, they don't really go together, but it looks like they do.
Yeah, no, and we were kind of stumped on a setup for a while there, so we kind of had to rack our brain over what kind of setups would be ideal for this place. But certainly a handful, especially with all the undulation, and just trying to get it turned in earlier and on the brakes late. I tell you what, going down that Conrod straight, flat noise in 4th gear, going into that chase, I tell you what, scares the living wits out of me.
2 to go, mate. We're going to talk to you on the podium. What do you reckon? What's your luck?
We'll see what happens. Got another lap to go, so if I can keep her off the fence a bit more, then maybe I might be in half a chance. But we'll wait and see. But certainly a fun night nonetheless. I'm sure you guys are having a ball in the broadcast booth up there.
Oh, mate, it's great fun. Hey, Ryan, anything to say to your old boy, as you've been saying?
Yeah, I have a few things to say to the old boy. The old dog, mate, but we have our shit talking face to face, which we always love. But so it's great watching you race around in the trucks, especially at Bathurst. It's a handful. We can see you're just inches off the wall. I know that you're familiar with being close to the wall, but about looking to your right or to your left in VR, you will be needing to change your underwear after the rounds that we've had, the carnage, we've had the pile-ups, the blown engines from Sebi, the laughing, the joking, everything. It's an awesome place to be. NASCAR's Bathurst, awesome. But I'll chuck you down into Skypoynt. I'm pretty sure we'll throw you back up here anyway, because you're going to get a podium because you're the old boy, the old dog, and we always know that we'll see you on the podium and chuck him down. Thanks, Pete. We loved him, we left him, and we'll focus up on Andrew Dyson sideways up the top. Last lap, 14 out of 14. We've had 2 8-lap races so far. Andrew Dyson takes the first one, the second one, the third one, and the top 3 we're having here for the final, the feature. Andrew Dyson, Gary Wellman, Andy Barber, Chris Tomlin, Tom Pritchard, Alex Schmidt, and Colin Bruns, Riley Curtis. Hey, Roffy, could be any of them, and Adam Malone, that ends your top 10. Sebi, mate, you're not in the commentary booth too often. We'll get you to talk again, and Andrew Dyson's just skating around. You can see that he is absolutely showing the attitude. He's also telling us to shush down on the bottom left-hand corner, so there's a lot of different attitudes that we can see from Andrew, but, mate, you can
do the jump.
You can finish this one, Sebi, and you can commentate the end of this race. Let's go. Floor's yours.
Dyson looks like he's having some fun out there on the last lap.
Get into it. Yeah.
Anything you chuck Andrew and he can drive, whether it be an 86, supercar, NASCAR truck, anything. Like, he always performs, and he's putting on a show for us at the moment. Look at that. Coming up to the last corner. Don't blow it here, mate. Hit your braking marker, get to the apex, and cross the finish line.
That's right, Andrew Dyson.
Sweet for the number 41 for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series fun race here. Happy Christmas, everyone. Dyson, well, if his Christmas is going to be anything like this race here. Clean sweep, fun race. And Gary Wellman up 10 positions too, Junes. He had a good battle with the old boy. I'm going to keep saying that now. Gary Wellman had a good battle with Andy Barber. He wins that battle up 10 position. And then your old boy, I'm sure you'll call him over the line.
Yeah, and definitely. So we'll skip over the Andy Barber back from Gary Wellman that's now taken the second position. And a bit of word insight. Let's stay on Andy for the finishing lap, for the in lap 2, because he's going to do the jump. I just got a little bit of word from Mother Dearest, my mother, my sweet mother, the lady that birthed me into this world, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows I exist, seeing that I am yelling here in the broadcast booth here tonight. But Christopher Tomlin is your 4th position, Tom Pritchard in 5th, Alex Schmidt, Colin Bruns, Riley Curtis, Kim Roffey and Adam Malone. That's your top 10. We'll go back to Andy Barber coming into the pit lane as we have a little bit of a look at his teammate Tom Pritchard that's now crossing the line. But everyone's going to do the jump now. Alex Schmidt, P, number 6. And we can see Colin Bruns, P, number 7. And Riley Curtis is coming at the final corner. Paul, P, number 8. And Kim Roffey, P9. And Adam Malone, P10. But the jumps are happening. We'll go up to Andy Barber in 3rd position. We'll have a little look at him. He's going to hit the jump, and I don't think he's going to 360 at Sebi, but we'll see. So we'll go from Andy Barber, and then we'll just go down the list as the drivers come in the in-lap, see if we can see about, 10 jumps. And, we'll see what's happening.
Sorry, Junes. I think because it's mandatory, I think Daiso even would do he's actually out of the series session. So, Andy Barber's probably the only one that's going to do the jump because Dyson and Wellman. So I'll eat my words right now. I was going to say, we should flip to Dyson. He's going to do it, but nah, he's not. So Ryan, you're right. Actually, that's
Yeah, so we have Andy Barber, car number 5 here. He's going to do the jump, and then as they do the jump, we'll flick back. Chris Tomlin is sitting behind, so I know what's going to happen here. We have Andy Barber, Chris Tomlin, we have Tom Pritchard, and now we're going to start queuing up. So the drivers are going to queue up. Chris Tomlin says, no, see you later. And now we have both the Skypoynt boys. Chris Tomlin will jump up to first. He's going to do the jump, and actually not stay on the Skypoint boys. Look how sick this looks, both the Skypoint cars together. And they're going to back up and get ready to do the jump. Let's see this. Let's go to Chris Tomlin and then flick back to the other drivers as we go along. Here we are, car 2, 1, 2. Inside lane, Sim Sports. He's trying to hit the jump. 260, 270, 280, whatever you want to call it, k's an hour. And let's see, 280. And no, it's going to be boring to us.
No! That's an anticlimax. Have a look at the rest of the field. There's Adney almost run up the arse of his rest. And we got a couple of Roffies in there. I think that's one of the DD dirty socked casting couch cars in there as well, or trucks, I should say. We're all queuing up at Forest. Oh, we're going to see carnage here again as the message got through. But this is mandatory on Bathurst. This is mandatory on iRacing. And I tell you, trucks here at Bathurst should be an official series. Mate, this is why we're here. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bathurst jump here. What a night it's been. Let's enjoy this.
What a night it's been, and Merry Christmas to everyone from Skypoint. And we're hitting the jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And everyone gets across. Absolute carnage. Andy Barber slams the wall. Everyone's left, right, and center. We'll flick back and see if any more people are going to do the jump. How crazy is that? Kim Roffey didn't make it over. Let's see if anyone else is on the track. Possibly we have a couple of we have Dave Douglas, Riley Curtis there. They've parked up on the wall.
What are they doing over there behind the tyre wall? Wow.
And it looks like we have a couple of other people on track too. No, we don't. Everyone's finished the race now. Everyone's starting the jump. We'll get a replay of this one. Kobe Jordan we're looking at. Hopefully we can see a little bit closer. But here we go. Kobe Jordan's going to go over and boom, over he goes, and he sticks to landing. And he makes it over. But how cool is this? We'll have a look at a couple replays actually, because I want to see a couple different angles, maybe a couple onboard shots too. I reckon we should jump aboard Riley Curtis for the replay. We'll have the replay up a couple times so we can all enjoy this awesome opportunity that we've been able to show here for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. Riley Curtis following the two Skypoynt cars, and watch him absolutely skew up and boom over the curb, and he just slides out and boom into the barrier. And how cool is that, Pete? How cool was that, Sebi and Paul, mate? How cool was that? The jump, we love the jump, and that's one of my favourite parts of the track is the jump. We hope everyone's going to hit it every single lap, but we got to wait for the special occasion. Everyone queued up at Forest exit, and now we're having another look at this. Tony Roffey from the chase view. Look at everyone else ahead doing the jump, and here comes Tony Roffey, Roff, and absolutely bang, his engine goes pop, just like Sebby's earlier this afternoon, throwing you under the bus for probably the millionth time here tonight. But Seb, good race so far, good recap, good 3 races that we had, and this was a bunch of fun. Everyone's doing burnouts on the front straight. Riley Curtis is smoking, pushing Dave Douglas. But, mate, talk us through, why don't you talk us through the 3 races that we had? I know that you had a different perspective with it, but how do you think the round was overall as we're waiting for the podium room to jump in? Actually, no, on screen, why don't you read us out the race results? We'll throw you under the bus yet again.
Wait, me?
Yeah, mate.
Yes, you. Oh, no, he's disappeared. Paul's
Yes,
looked
mate.
happy.
Oh,
You
no.
got him on the payroll.
Why did I go?
Yeah, it's all you, Sebby.
First position, Andrew Dyson with an awesome race tonight. Clean sweep. Even with the reverse grid in race 2, he made it through all the carnage, and awesome drive from him tonight. Second place, Gary Willman. Third place, Andy Barber. Fourth place, Chris Tomlin, Tom Pritchard, Alex Schmidt, I think. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Colin Burns, Riley Curtis, Kim Roffey, Adam Malone, Kobe Jordan, Stephen Williamson, Tony Roffey, Richie
Marco. Yeah.
Harry Fenson, Wade Chitty, Jay Mello, Danny Vassell is your 18. And then we've got Daniel Stevenson's, Craig Roffrey, Dave Douglas. I don't know who that guy in 22nd is. Trent Gosling.
Blown engine guy.
Yeah. Tompkins, Troy Davidson, and Aaron Dillon rounds out the field of 26 people for race 3 of the Skypoynt Xmas Fun Run.
Yeah, and that you did an awesome job with that, Sebby. The feature results that we just went through, and the top 3 was Andrew Dyson, Gary Willman, Andy Barber, and we have no Andrew Dyson. So you know what? We're going to bring him in here. Let's force him in here, and we'll go through the podium. Andy Barber, you're first up. The old man, Andy J, mate. You came third in that one, and overall with the chaotic round we had, why don't you talk us through the 3 awesome races that we had here at Mount Panorama?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when Tom and I first thought of this idea, we thought it was a pretty stupid idea, and then we kind of stuck with stupid, and it turned out all right. We kind of knew it'd be quite entertaining, and to chuck it up with 3 different races with 0 fast repairs naturally as well was a good thing. But certainly fun race, and fun was what was in mind tonight. And special mention to Chop coming 4th as well. Very impressive. I watched him throughout the races on the relative, and he was up there as well. So that's a great drive from him. But overall, pretty happy. We went in basically without a setup. We came out basically without a setup, but it worked for the jump.
Yeah, and we saw the jump at the end there. We saw like 5, 6, 7 cars take the jump with you guys. No doubtedly, you guys will be on the radio saying, hey, everyone, queue up. We're going on the jump. And that's what you delivered. But let's talk about you, just yourself, rather than, the whole round. How do you think you went? What were your strengths? What were your weaknesses? Obviously, the cars aren't built for this track. They aren't built for circuits in general. And when you throw a mountain at it, this is what we get. Talk us through your 3 races.
Yeah, basically just started, I think, around in the mid-pack there. So I was trying to be aware of all the trucks around me at the start and trying to make sure if I can get through that first lap, then I might stand half a chance during the race. And I think a lot of it for me, because I'm not on the pace with the front boys, it's identifying who's quicker than me and who isn't. And, trying not to put up too much of a fight and run with them when they go past. So it not only teaches me something as well with watching them and their racing lines, but also running with them is also an advantage. But a couple of 6th places and a 3rd, pretty happy with that. And it's testament to all the guys that took their time out this Tuesday night, so close to Christmas, to come out and have a bit of fun. So yeah, pretty happy.
Yeah, we're all about fun here at Skypoynt, and that's what we delivered here. 26 trucks tackling Bathurst. And before I throw over to Pete, and I reckon we're going to throw Sebi under the bus as well, as his engine went pop in race 3, so we decided to drag him in to the broadcast booth, and he's been a great addition here. But before we throw over to Pete and Seb, how many pairs of underwear did you think you had to change after those 3 races? Because we had quite a lot of action, a couple pile-ups and proper scary moments.
Probably 2 or 3, and I reckon one of those was yours, so it's all good. Really, really happy with the way it all turned out, and I wasn't too sure how many people would be keen for a circuit like this, because it is, a bit off the cuff and off the wall, but testament to all those guys that did rock up, as they do for the Oval Leagues week in, week out, not forgetting that we do have those final 3 rounds to go at the start of next year as well.
Yeah, how good is it? It's Bathurst, it's trucks, it's NASCAR, it's everything. Tonight was something that was pretty much drawn in mud, wasn't it? It was just pretty much, you know what? Let's do it. It's fun, it's Christmas, and you know what? That was, sorry kids, it's late at night, it's 9:21, it's late at night. That was fucking fun, excuse my language. But that was fun. And probably the most fun I've had on iRacing, Andy, and you and Tom put your head together, and and that's what makes this series great. And you run a good race. Everyone run a good race. You came 3rd in the 3rd and final race, up 3 positions where you started. You already noted that you didn't think a lot of people would be interested in it, but you almost got a full field, considering how the series going. Like 30 drivers, I think he's averaged over 30 every series. What's going to happen for the rest of the series? You already mentioned you got three rounds to go. I do envision that they're going to be super speedways. What's any notable points that we're going to kick off this series after, or not kick off, send it out rather for this one, for season 3 after Christmas, Andy? If that makes any sense. That was very long-winded.
Mate, I totally get it, but I tell you what, being dropped in the deep end a little bit, I was going to wait till Boxing Day, but we may as well dangle the carrot now. Next season, season 4, we're looking at going full super speedway for every round, and just a little bit unique and a little bit different to some other leagues where they do run the long, the short, and a couple of the rovals in there as well. And we really found that we had great attendance for the super speedways. We had our best numbers at the super speedways, and I guess naturally is that because anybody can come and have a chance of winning that race. So that was the beauty of it all, and that's the way that I think we're going to gear the season for. So certainly keep your eyes peeled for that.
And, well, you've already touched that Bathurst is tough. It's a tough track. We all know that. I've witnessed and called races with you in teammates around here in a supercar. I was dumbfounded that a truck, 297, I think, or 296 kilometres an hour, down Conrod Straight, taking the chase flat foot, as you do. You do not lift that foot. You do not lift that foot. That Larko says it, you don't do it. You do not lift that foot. I'm sure yous weren't lifting either. It's so close to the top speed of a supercar, but so far from the handling of a supercar, and you packed out a field. What did it feel like every lap, Andy? And be honest, if there's a F and something like slip, it's 9:24 p.m, so that's okay. We're outside that window. How did that feel, Andy? Because the speeds were close, very, very close. We said it was a fun race. People took us seriously, but as a driver, this track is challenging, but the trucks the speeds were very close to a supercar, less the handling. How did it feel any less than shitting yourself every lap?
Well, yeah, apart from shitting myself every lap, the tyres were pretty good on the first and the second lap. Like, they felt like they had a lot of rubber, but naturally, I don't know with the other guys, but with our setup, it was quite slidey as well. And you have to kind of turn in naturally with the NASCAR steering wheel being bigger than the supercar one. You've got to kind of turn into the corner a little bit earlier and brake a little bit earlier as well. But you're right, going through that kink down at Conrod, that's where it's like, yeah, I bet I spilt my coffee a couple of times in that car because, by the time I got down there, sometimes it's like, am I going to pull up here or am I not? So I guess that's the beauty of it. But from a setup perspective, I think the car kind of went away a little bit after a while because the car was sliding. And then once those tyres heat up, it takes, at least half a lap to cool them back down and get back in the flow again. But, I just kind of just drove to my own number, tried to stay out of trouble and consequently, finished all right.
How'd you go with the setup? There's no VRS, there's no PPS, there's no official setup shop that does Bathurst, does it really? How'd you go with the setup? How much work do you put into it?
We didn't put too much in, but we put a little bit in naturally. We tried with Watkins Glen first and changed the gear ratios around, and that wasn't suitable. And I think we ended up going with one of the Roval circuits where it was quite flat, where the truck was symmetrical, because naturally they're set up to, turn left. So you kind of had to even everything out in the truck and readjust the springs, the cambers and all that kind of thing. But it was certainly a little bit of a challenge to put it all together. And it was quite actually interesting to see what we had compared to other guys that maybe, are quite proficient in setting up those road circuits.
It was great, mate. I'm going to shut up and talk. Great race tonight here, P3 for race 3. Ryan, how about you talk to your old boy about the race again?
Yeah, sure. I'll talk to the old boy.
So I'm just sitting here writing checks. I think Gary's up next, actually. I'm out of questions.
We won't throw me in yet because I've done my talking. Pete's done his shit talking. We have a little special guest in here, Sebi Vindell, number 4, number 9 tonight. Mate, why don't you have a chat to Andy? You haven't been in the booth before when interviewing someone. You jumped in with us. You enjoyed viewing the pictures, had a couple of laughs with us. Why don't you have a couple chats with us too? We'll throw it across to Andy, and after that, we'll talk to the remaining of our podium.
Yeah, sounds good. Obviously, you and Tom put a lot of effort into the racing in this league and all that, and tonight went very well, obviously, and put on some good racing, and you got yourself a good result.
Yep, and you know what the secret was? Your pedals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
what about that?
Did he sign them?
Yeah, he did. So for the people playing at home, when I upgraded my rig, I actually stole Sebi's V3s. So I made sure I didn't take him unless he signed underneath them. So, I think that's worth half a second to a second right there, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. And Sebi, you're an alien. You drive quick on road. Obviously, we saw here at Bathurst, you were, 22 odd seconds in the lead after the absolute carnage that unfolded, and he just kept on banging quick laps, extending the margin back to second, which wasn't damaged, would I add. So it was a pretty realistic viewing that we saw. And then your power decided to shit itself. It said goodbye. Your computer said goodbye, and you got booted from the race naturally because of you're not in real life. When your power goes out, it's not like you can just keep driving. But you were able to come back in for the last race. But unfortunate luck for you. You did a good job. You showed the pace, and But we'll roll across to our second place getter, Gary Wellman, number 45 for the Sim Boys. You showed quite a lot of pace as well, just like all of the podium, obviously, mate. You were on the edge of grip. You had a couple of wall taps, but apart from that, how do you reckon that your race went?
Can't complain with that. Pretty good pace. I kept it pretty clean, and that was the aim of the game, I think. After the end of that last race there, a bit of first lap carnage, and I kind of picked my way through that. got touched up a bit, but not too bad. And then I sort of looked up after a lap or so, and Dyson was way up the road, and I was never catching him, so I was kind of racing for second after that. So it worked out good.
Hey, Gaz, it's Pete here, mate. You had a good battle with Andy Barber. You actually got the goods on him in the end, but it was touch and go there for a few laps, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's thereabouts. Actually, I made a bit of a mess of my pit stop. I had a bit of a gap, and then I come through the pits, and I didn't think I fueled it, so I was stuffed around trying to make sure I did that, and come out of the pits just in front of him and cold tyres, and he was all over me, but I managed to work on that gap at the end there, and I think I had a bit of pace on him, which was good, but yeah, like I say, he wasn't going to close in the gap to Dyson, so it's just trying to run it to second place.
At least you.
And what do you reckon, mate? I was calling. Sorry if I spoke over someone there. But I was calling for probably most of the race that just because the display you guys put on here tonight. What do you reckon? iRacing put on a trucks at just all circuit races, maybe even follow the supercar circuits. What do you reckon? Because trucks at Bathurst, it was a fun race, but bloody hell, you still get half serious.
Yeah, it's pretty good out there. I mean, it's a fair bit of carnage, and you just had to pick your way through that at the start. And I mean, I'm probably, if anything, a Bathurst specialist. If I'd have had a road course, that's the one for me. So I was hoping I'd be kind of on the pace. And I don't know if I'd be any good at any other road course, but Bathurst suits me pretty well. And these trucks actually, once you get into a rhythm, I found they're heaps of fun, and you can just slide them through, and they're good fun.
Well, you didn't blow your engine, hey Seb.
Yeah, and Bathurst did suited you well. We know we're throwing Seb under the bus so many times with his blown engine, but Seb, you're never going to hear the end of it. Just very quickly before we head over to Sebby, because we do have to wrap this up quickly so we can spin the wheel, get some money thrown out to you guys, you drivers, and whatnot. But before we throw it to Sebby, throw you over to Sebby, how do you reckon you went? You had a lot of pace. Obviously, you came second. Looks like your car was set up quite well. How do you think you went throughout the race?
Yeah, not bad, mate. First heat I was on the pace, and I think I come from 6th into 4th, and then the reverse grid, and I got wiped out pretty hard, so I held it on to 12th to start the final, and then I managed to avoid Spinning Dave in front of me, and I think I got through pretty unscathed. When I looked in the mirror, there's a fair bit of carnage going on back there, so I was pretty happy to sneak through and then pick a couple off into the top 3 or 4 and then just work on it from there. So it was sort of good fun.
And carnage we did have indeed. Sebby, we'll drag you in here before we head over to our race winner, Andrew Dyson, who did do a clean sweep here tonight. But Sebby, what's right to you?
Yeah, awesome race tonight. Gary showed some good results and good pace. Talk us through the carnage at in race 2. How'd you make it through that?
Didn't really. I got caught up in that when the track was blocked, and my car was sort of 10 seconds off the pace for the rest of the race. I was just hanging on, and I think I run the last 3 laps with a blown smoky engine, but kept it going, chugging along to the end, and fronted up in 12th for the feature. And I'd say I think a few guys maybe they went out a bit too hard at the start of that last race. Long enough race to probably make a few spots up, but there was a fair bit going on at the start of that last one. But that's racing, eh?
Yeah, and it's racing indeed. But good job, Gary. I actually, unfortunately, forgot to ask Andy for sponsors. I'll just quickly read them through. We have Skypoynt, Missions Excel Garage, Tiana Holiday Park, and obviously Skypoynt, like I mentioned. But Gary, talk us through your sponsors really quickly, and then we'll head over to Andrew Tyson.
Just United Electrical, Hot Dotties, heating installs, Ferris shifters, all the Sim boys. You guys for the broadcast and putting on a fun race. That was a bit of fun, and shout out Dave for wiping half the field out in the final and helping me out too.
Yeah, and Dave did a good job with that too. We did have a couple of replays of that. And
he's got the number one for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's the number one. And, our number one when it comes to taking people out. Not intentionally, of course. But anyway, Gary Wellman, we'll give a quick shout out to Hot Toddy's Heating Installs also because Good old Toddy did sponsor the season earlier, but we'll head over to Andrew Dyson. No, he doesn't suck. And he obviously showed an absolute clean sweep, pole position, one race 2, one race 3, complete clean sweep. Andrew, how does it feel to just wipe out everything and just put your truck in the top position for all 4 of the sessions that you had to go through?
It's pretty cool, man. I think the best race of the night was probably the first one. That was pretty fun there. Plenty of side-by-side stuff. Nearly a whole lap, actually, with Dan. So I think we got to the dipper and I decided, if we're going to crash. So I kind of tucked him behind him. But that was super cool. Fun race, man.
Yeah, and sorry, Pete.
Oh, sorry, Junes. I was thinking to myself, as soon as I was thinking the same wavelength as you when you used the side by side in turn 1, and it was like, and I think Junes and PJ will be able to back me up. I'm like this, I think it was Larker, of course. I keep referencing him. There's tram tracks. There's one tram, one line around here. You're not going to do it, and you've done it side by side the whole time. And then I'm like, who's going to yield to the dipper? They're not going to go side by side to the dipper, are they? No, they yielded, and you just peeled in beside that. But you got the win overall anyway. But what does it feel like? When you know yourself, you've driven a supercar around here, you've driven all sorts of cars around here at Mount Panorama. Talk us through, apart from, we've said shitting yourselves that many times, I don't know. I don't know what other term to use. But when you look to your counterpart to the left here and he's not yielding, and I can bet your balls that if you look to the right of him and he's probably thinking, shit, he's not yielding either. What's going through a driver's head when you're going through this part of Mount Panorama that is, you might as well say stereotypically known as a one-line, section of the track, and you're doing it side by side? Are you waiting for someone to crash, or are you just watching your own line and going, stuff him, I'm just going to do my own race?
Maybe a little bit of that, but I mean, you make it through 1 or 2 corners and it's kind of a bit of give and take both ways. And you go, okay, fair play. Like, he's happy to go side by side. I'm happy to go side by side too. So you kind of get to the next corner and you hope, you're on the outside. You hope he leaves you room. Yep, he does. Fair play. So you get to the next corner. He's on the outside. I've got to leave him room. Get to the next corner. He's on the outside again. I've got to leave him room. Then we get to the top of Skyline. And I'm thinking, okay, is he going to, try to go extra deep and just clean me here? And no, he was happy to go side by side again. So I did. And that's when I thought, someone's got to give, because it's just the slowest corner on the track. And you can see, to make that work, we both had to back it off. And you're going as fast as you can, but you're still going pretty slow comparative to everyone else coming up behind you. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's what it feels like. You're just like, okay, is he going to, repay me the favour or the courtesy? And he did. And he would have been thinking the same thing too. So we both played it that way and came away with it.
Yeah, it was great, mate. Good driving from all tonight. It was great fun. And that's my under the bus. And I'll read the message I sent to Paul. My under the bus for you. I'll drag this F out as long as I can. So, I'm doing my bit for dragging, for throwing Paul under the bus and making him trying to find something interesting to have a look in the replay. But great drive, mate. And it was awesome to watch and awesome to be a guest appearance for a change.
Thanks, Pete. And thanks, Pete. Thanks, Andrew. Thank Paul, and thanks, Sebi. And Sebi, mate, why don't you have a quick chat to Andrew, and then we'll get this all finished up, and I'm pretty sure there might be a little bit of a review on Facebook, not too sure, but we'll find a time to hand out all this prize money from tonight's race.
Yeah, well done on the win tonight, Andrew. Well deserved. You dominated all night, showing amazing pace, dipping into the 209s in quali. But yeah, you had that simrigs.com DPR truck on rails tonight.
I don't know about rails, but it was everywhere's on the edge, man. I'm sure you know what it's like. You get around and you're kind of wobbling and you're just keeping it off the fence in a few spots, and it gets pretty risky, but a bit hairy. But it's cool, man. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and cool it was. We had 3 awesome races here tonight. We'll finish this one up. Your podium was Andrew Dyson first, Gary Wilman second, Andy Barber in third. But 3 races tonight. Awesome. 2 8-lappers, 1 14-lapper. Race number 2 consisted of the biggest pile-up that I've seen live, and that includes when I'll actually watch the Supercars too. Had some awesome action here, some awesome racing, and battles, cars sideways, cars crashing. Everything was everywhere, and the drivers really provided an awesome show. Pete, our special guest, did awesome, as always, from LR Esports. He just continuing that, having a bit of a break, and it was awesome to have him in here. Paul, of course, and he's pushing all the buttons, doing the most minimal talk he can do. And, of course, Abby, thanks for jumping in for the back end of the broadcast. We would love to have you back in the future. Next round, we're getting our Ricky Bobbies out, and we're heading to Talladega for 80 laps for the Dega Crown race number 3 for Talladega. And then we head over to Atlanta for 130 laps of that. And then we finally kick off the final race of the championship, Daytona, double points, 200 laps, Daytona 500. From us at Skypoint and in the broadcast booth, Paul, Pete, Ryan, and Sebi, we thank you very much for watching. Thanks for joining us for the Bathurst special race, and we are looking forward to seeing you next round at Talladega Motor Speedway. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.